All right, so we're here for From the Heart with Ms. Ida Valentine, amazing artist of definitely not one kind. You know, what she's doing now isn't even how I met her. So we gonna, get into all of that. How you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, like I say, I'm in my zone right now.
No doubt.
I'll pause out. So
yeah. If you do, it's perfect to catch you in the zone. This is From the Heart. It's about the art and even how you got here. So how did you get here?
Like I said, I was living in South Carolina, and God just blessed my hands. A lot of people don't understand that, but I wasn't doing this. I was making quilts, but I wasn't putting art on quilts,
Right.
And I just got up one night and I started doing a quilt piece, and it turned into a character. And Princess May Lee.
Princess May Lee.
It's Princess May Lee. She started off as a quilt, and like I say, I made a character out of her, and I started calling them my children because I'd made so many of them. I put real earrings on her because I wanted her to be more realistic and dimensional. Yeah, so that was my first piece. So I framed her.
This new actress has some good shoes to fill, but
a friend of mine's down there, his name was Hank. Hank Herring. I had went to him with my quilts. I had made a couple of Obama quilts, and he was just telling me that he didn't have a space to hang them at the time, so he gave me this great big old bag of fabric, and he told me to take it home and play with it, and I really didn't understand, why is this guy giving me, and this is the first day I met him, and so I went home and I started going through the fabric and I started making quilt patches. This is something that I could come up with.
Right.
But what I did, I made a picture. Actually, the little
the small one right here?
Yes. I made a picture out of it.
Wow.
You can take it off.
Okay.
You have to excuse like I said, this is my workshop.
No doubt.
My dining area. Yeah, and I took it back to him, and he totally tripped because that is not what he was expecting.
Right.
He was expecting me to take that bag of pieces and make a quilt.
Right.
But my mind went totally different, and after I made it, I couldn't believe I did that. So I, like I said, God just started blessing me, and then I would get these headaches, and I would have a picture in my mind, and I would carry the headache until I brought that picture out, and I put it on canvas.
Right.
So I started making the quilt pieces. Then I said, well, you know what? I'm going to see if I could do a painting. So I did a painting with my fabric. So what is that painting? I think it's the big painting I made also, but the one I made is S.O.U.L.
Okay.
It's sitting in an art gallery in New York. I've never been there, but the lady that bought it owned the gallery, and she said she wanted to put it because it was different. And then I was putting out pictures, like 2-3 pictures, in 2 days. And I don't know, it was just peace. It was this calmness that would come over me, when I'm in my zone, and the finished product was just unbelievable to me because I still hadn't grasped that, the idea that I did that.
Right.
God blessed that and brought that out of me. And once I accepted it and I understood it, I was on a roll. and it's been flowing like that. I have a storage out there that's just packed with art. You know, I give a lot of art away because in the Bible say God, bless you with a gift. You're supposed to share that gift.
Right.
That's what I do. I share it. If I sell something, I'll give 2, 3 pieces away.
Right.
And basically, that's about all. I mean, I do whatever makes me so happy. And this makes me happy.
How was it that you found, like, how do you find your pocket, in this? Like, how do you find your zone? Like, do you just be like, okay, I want to create, or is it like a creative spirit, within you?
Spirit that comes over me. And, I was trying to explain it to my girls. My girls, they say, Mom, you be terrific. But I be trying to explain to them what's happening to me. And evidently I can because they don't understand it. There's this, first of all, I get this like anxious feeling. I get really restless. I can't sit down. But that's when the idea is forming. I can feel it forming in me. And if I just sit down and try to ignore it, I get the headache. I get a headache. So, once that comes, I just have to actually let that spirit guide me. And next thing I know, I'm up. I'm doing something, and I just let it out. Like this here, this here quilt here. This morning I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it, but I was sitting there and I said, okay, so I got an idea and I got up and I wanted to get me a kind of symbol, and I just went and I said, okay, I'm gonna do this here, I'm gonna do this here, and before I knew it, I was in that zone. I don't know. It's just it's really, really hard.
Do you have other creatives in your family, that have inspired you, or that it could be passed down? And the reason I asked is because, like, even as I've gotten more into art, I was like, what is it? Like that. Of course, I come up with my own thing of like, I just love to be creative. So it's one of those lanes. But I've also even found like in like meeting more family that I didn't know, that there was a artistic thing there. So it was like, okay, there is this other reason that I've been saying forever why, I'm so into this. But then there's this like genetic connection at the same time, ancestral connection or whatever it may be.
It's so strange that you asked me that because I was talking to my aunt. My whole family is in California. And so I was telling her, she said, oh, I seen that picture that you gave your Frances. Frances is my sister, and I gave her a couple of pictures. And she said, well, did you see what your uncle did with it? And I'm thinking, no. So she said, go on Facebook. So I went on Facebook, and it was so cool to see one of my paintings on there that my uncle had framed. Oh. I painted it, he framed, but it was weird because he was the uncle that taught me how to draw.
He created this frame?
Yeah. He does Max. Oh man, this man is awesome. He does the match stems. He's amazing. He did that picture there. That picture frame.
It's Africa.
The Africa picture frame. Wow. And so I was sitting up thinking, and me and my aunt was talking. It's weird because I was an art major in college, but I never finished. So I went totally opposite. I went into business instead of into art. So when I came to the East Coast, God just brought it all out of me, And I was telling her, I said, it's weird because Uncle Cleve taught me how to draw, and I've been drawing since I was about 4. I remember because I was in first grade. I was 4 years old.
What was the first drawing?
My aunt. My aunt that raised me had an aunt that raised me, and I drew a picture of her, and she kept it. And but everybody said it looked like it. You know, I know it looked like it to me, but you know, when you grow old and become an adult, you see stuff that you did as a child, you laugh at it. I don't have that opportunity to laugh at it, but I remember drawing it.
Right.
I remember what it looks like, and to me, it looked like her. And but then I just started drawing. I had siblings, I had sisters and brothers, but because I was raised by my aunt and my uncle, I was the only child. So I had a lot of time, you know, by myself.
Right.
So she used to tell me, idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Stay busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I, like I said, lonely child would become very, very creative. I learned how to make doll clothes out of crazy, you know, tying strings, the fabric, hook a hole, tie a string, you know. We had these seagrass dolls when I was a kid, you know, and made from the corn husk. And I would make them in cocoa bottles. Make dolls, make clothes for the cocoa bottles, you know. Cocoa bottles had a shape to them, right? So,
right.
So I did that, and I just learned how to use my time. And I used to sit up and draw a lot, you know. I wasn't painting back then, you know.
Right.
But I did draw a lot of pictures, a lot of houses with yards and animals.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was about 10, I started actually really using a sewing machine. So I learned how to make doll clothes, you know, as a kid. But I didn't get into quilt making maybe until about 20 years ago.
So, so you got into quilt making 20 years ago. What is it that made you veer off into business when you started in art?
Well, I had got married,
Mm-hmm.
and I had kids, and I had to be there for my kids.
Right.
I getting up, making sure they were, you know, fed, breakfast out. You know, I was a homemaker. Put it like that. I was a homemaker, and what I did within my home then, I would decorate. I was always decorating, moving stuff around, create, growing plants. I have a green thumb, so I can grow plants, and you know, daycare.
Right.
And then I got me a painting company. And I went into painting houses, wallpapering, and I didn't do the regular wallpaper. I found myself putting art.
Yeah.
On the
Did
wall.
you do that when you said you had a green thumb, when you were like playing flowers, or you like produce?
Flowers. I didn't really get into the gardening, but for flowers, I could grow some flowers.
What kind of artistic vibe did you bring to that?
Well, you know what? I was running. I grew the flowers that I could run. And I would actually. I had an easel, and I made me a zone, made me an area where I could draw. And I found out I could talk to my plants. And the plants, like I said, they started growing.
As you would talk to them?
As I talked to them.
What kind of conversation would you have with them?
Actually, just, you know, how, you know, what people thought of me. You know, I always felt like people thought I was, you know, kind of weird, kind of strange, because I didn't do what everybody else did. My thing, I don't know where it came from, but I found myself, I appreciated nature, you know, and I used to see odd things and like, okay, I want to take a picture of that, you know, and then I'm going to draw it. So it would always come back to drawing, sketching. I did a lot of drawing, sketching. But then when I moved to, like I said, the East Coast, I was doing stuff like I didn't know I could do. I make paper flowers. You know?
How did you get into like making paper flowers? Like, what is it that made you? I'm gonna make a flower.
My daughter sent me a picture. She said, "Mom, can you make this?" I'm thinking, well, that's a flower. She said, "Yeah, Mom, but it's paper." And paper? So, I'm thinking, wow. So she told me to go on this site, Pinterest. I went on Pinterest and I went nuts.
I can only imagine.
I have so many paper flowers, whereas I'm doing a wedding. I'm doing backdrops. So that's what the majority of these here flowers are for.
Wow.
I'm doing
Each of these boxes is full of paper flowers.
Full of flowers. Except for this one. This is my backdrop. The green, yeah. And so I make giant ones.
Right.
I make the ones that stand up tall. They stand off the floor. Giant ones. It's art.
Right.
It's art. And anything pertaining with art, my mind just absorbs it. And I just get into it, and I can do this all day. Because it's a sense of peace. It's a form of peace for me. Like I said, anything that has to do with art, I love it. I love doing it. Big, small, medium.
What kind of discoveries have you made about yourself through your art?
That I can stay focused. I had a focus problem, I was always easily distracted. But with my art, I've learned how to focus, and I get distracted sometimes, but I'm learning how just to, focus instead of, okay, I'm going to do this and then I'll go over here and do something else, and then this don't get finished. So, and I learned how to do that, just put all my energy on what I'm doing. A lot of my art, I've been told that people see me in it. I don't understand it yet.
I get it only because I'm outside looking in, and I've looked at your art, and like even the pieces that you just had for the African American Heritage exhibit, like it's so abstract and unique. Like in conversation with you, I can understand your art even more and more. And it's like the creative spirit that you have. Like you can see that in your art, because it's not just regular art on canvas. Like you add in yarn, you bring in it like it's a multimedia, but it's just a different level that. I don't know, but I can connect with I seeing you in it. I can definitely connect with that.
Okay, I don't know if I want to show you this piece here. I know you know Julian. I'm doing a piece of Julian's mom. You met his mom and dad?
Yes, and I met his mom, not his dad.
Oh, you have his dad. You met his mom.
Oh, wow. Like, that is wild. Are we able to show this?
Yeah. Yes. I want to step out to my truck real quick.
Well, I'll be showing them these. Or can we catch some of these, like some of the ones in the hallway?
In the hallway, yeah. That's my daughter and my son-in-law. And I had a picture. I don't know what happened to the picture.
This is a whole nother level right here. You gotta catch this. This is.
Oh, here, let me close my door in the room here. This is children's zone.
Wow. This NWA is crazy too.
These here are pictures that was inspired of the gullah in the Low Country, the marsh and the docks. I don't know when I never lived there, visit there, but when I went there, that Gullah spirit just got on me, and all this stuff started coming out of me. This here was two pieces of fabric that my friend Hank gave me.
That's the fabric.
Yeah, that's fabric. Look like cactus plant, doesn't it? And the birds are feathers. I pulled the feathers apart and made birds out of them.
See, that's what I mean by like creative spirit. Like you, like it's a whole nother. Like someone gonna just paint the feathers. This is a real like. No, I'm gonna go get feathers.
In all my paintings, I put a bird.
What's the symbolism of a bird?
Freedom. Freedom. The bird is free. Now, yeah, I said that was the picture. That's my first portrait I did. After I did them, I did a picture of Candace Glover. She was the American Idol singer, and she was from Beaufort, St. Helens Island, South Carolina. So I did a portrait of her. And this one here, when straight out of Compton. This is a fabric.
That's amazing. I don't even really know what to say. That's amazing.
I just thank God because he gave this to me, and it's like I'm still having problems, accepting that I can do this. It's a shock to me.
Right.
People say, "Well, how do you feel when you do that?" When I finish a piece, it's like when you had a good meal, and then you just sit down and just kick back, and that heavy sleep come on you. That's that feeling that I get after I do.
Once you complete a piece.
Yeah.
Well, and have you shown this one anywhere?
No, because it wasn't framed, and I had took it to get it framed, and I used to work in a frame shop in the gallery, so I know what they were charging me was ridiculous. So I said, well, that's okay. I'll just hold on to it.
Yeah. That's amazing about and that's why. All right, so that's to come back to why I asked you why you veered off into the business. I was going to double back and ask how did it affect how your business with your art? Was it?
It's so strange because this is my art. It's hard for me to put a price on it. So a lot of times when I do my artwork, I ask someone else, "What do you think this is worth? What would you pay for this?" And it
is it still like that, or was it like that in the beginning?
It was like that in the beginning. It's not like that no more. So the reason I said because people would, I knew they were getting over on me, and but I said, well, you know what? That's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to him because that's just putting my name out there, And I've had a lot of art stolen from me, But I said, well, hey, that's all right. God put me out there, But I figured, I don't know. I know my worth. For a long time, I didn't know my worth.
That's important.
Yeah, and I didn't know it. And people say, you realize what? No, it's just art, But I understand. I know my worth. I don't know. I look at that and it's just so amazing. This is something that you don't see every day.
Yeah, this is a definite first. Out of all of the different museums I've been in, this is definitely a first. It's very unique stuff. What is your art saying? But you said because people are able to see you in your art. What do you think your art says about you? Oh, and what do you want it to be saying?
You know what? Actually, that's a hard question for me to answer because I just I just hope when people see my artwork and they see me, okay, yeah, that's Ida, and I could tell or I could see, my characters in my work. Um, it's so funny. The word smooth keep coming to me, but
Smooth.
smooth. I try to be smooth with my work. Um, comfort.
That smooth and comfortable. It's definitely a very comfortable feeling. Looking at your art, it does have that type of. It creates that. I'll be honest, for sure. No doubt. Well, I appreciate you. Sharing. From your heart. With us. And where. So if people wanting to get in contact with you, to have a quilt made or something, where could they?
You can hit me up on Facebook, Yaya Sweetness, because I am Yaya, and this is my sweetness.
I can dig it. And I'll make sure I have all that information, up there for them to find you as well.
I have phone number.
Well, I'll be able to put all the information at the bottom.
Okay.
Dad, it's also Women's History Month, so I appreciate you for helping us. Create this moment in history as well. No doubt, it's all good. We here for that. But yeah, I appreciate you for sure.
All right, love. Thank you. I appreciate you guys being interested in my gift.
Look, ever since we met you and seeing your art, it's been a whole nother level of fascination, because like I said, this is a first, and it's unique and it really shows creative spirit and more like having conversation with you. It definitely, I can understand why one would say they see you in your art because like your spirit is in this for real. Your soul is in this. Like, absolutely.
Ain't that good?
Mm-hmm.